Another great team boxing league rivalry renews tonight in the shadow of Hollywood as the Phoenix Fury and the Las Vegas Hustle do battle. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside our TBL studios and a pleasant good evening to you. I'm Dave Bontempo along with my longtime buddy Al Bernstein. And let's first take a look at the standings, which become more important by the day in the Team Boxing League. We get to see that Las Vegas is tweaking its positioning, looking for the playoffs. Also, Phoenix is in. Take a look at that red line. There's a lot of action. Atlanta, NYC. This is what the last few weeks are all going to be about. Well, as we head into this one, Al, Las Vegas, winners of 14 of 15 quietly regular season matchups for them. And for Phoenix, well, they would like to win a quality matter before they go into the playoffs. These teams, though, have a big theme between them.
Yeah, they really do. There are 10 fighters tonight of Cuban origin who are very, very talented. 8 on Las Vegas, 2 on Phoenix. And one of the fighters for Phoenix is going to play a very important role. Jordan Barrera, who is undefeated this season. This 30-year-old is having the best of his 3 TBL seasons. And power has been the watchword. In 2 fights versus Martin Saldano on the same night, he scored a knockdown in each of those matches. And in his last outing, he trumped that with a TKO win over Raul Garcia to make it 9 points that he produced in his last 4 fights. He's a force for Phoenix. One of the Las Vegas Cuban squad is TBL legend Osvaldo Caballero. In a somewhat uncharacteristic start to season 4, he wasn't doing as well as he might, but he picked up the pace, and now he's on a 5-round win streak to bring his career total to 37. This crafty 31-year-old has a unique ability to dominate the second half of every round he fights, and tonight he's on a special mission to gain revenge.
You know how it works, 24 3-minute rounds. Every round is the last round. We have 8 rounds of the launch, middle, and money round segments, and in each we have a round to watch. And the launch round, we have a terrific one.
Yeah, round number 6 featuring Barrera, who we just talked about, taking on Dizlan Gainza, yet another one of those Cuban fighters on the Las Vegas team. And, Gainza's had a very solid season as well, 7-3, and he is a tall lefty, just like Barrera, and they're like mirror images of each other, and it should be a great fight.
A lot of firepower. We have a lot to watch. The third member of our broadcast team, Sofia Gutierrez, is ringside with her report.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Now, I was able to talk to both coaches, so let's start things off for the Phoenix Fury. I was able to chat with Sonny Gutierrez, who's excited for tonight. A lot of his fighters have already faced similar opponents in Las Vegas, so those fights could really go either way. Now, we touched a little bit on what happened in their last matchup against Atlanta. He said what they want to avoid tonight is having to catch up in those later rounds. So their game plan is to start early and dominate in those early rounds. And to start things off for them is Brenda Cardenas and James Pierce. Now, their keys to victory is stick to the game plan. Start off strong, but finish even stronger. Now for the Las Vegas Hustle, I also got to chat to Coach Dewey Cooper, who's excited for tonight. He's excited to see Raiko Santana face Johandler Martinez once again. These 2 fighters have gone against each other. Both have gone wins over each other, so tonight should be good and can go either way. He is also relying heavily on their only heavyweight tonight, Heinrich Ruiz, to not only win, but win big in points. Now, their keys to victory is to outwork them. Coach Dewey says it's not talent that always wins, but sometimes who outworks them, or how he says, who out-hustles them. Back to you guys.
All right, the play on the name, and we're excited for those matchups too. Great individual battles plus the team concept. The teams are on their way in. The fans are there. We are getting excited for the start of this one, and when we come back from the break, we'll go inside and meet the fighters. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Well, we're getting ready to start. You know one thing that often means? The TBL Bellas, a great addition to the league this year. And then we go inside. Let's meet the fighters with Ray Flores.
Welcome to the next chapter of high-impact, non-stop action. This is Team Boxing League, where every round is the last round, and every fighter leaves it all inside the ring. Each moment a TBL season airs live on MSG Networks, along with Envoy TV, Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. Welcome to Thunder Studios here in Los Angeles for tonight's Week 14 matchup between the Phoenix Fury and the Las Vegas Hustle. We would like to thank the California State Athletic Commission Executive Director Andy Foster for overseeing tonight's event. Your referees in charge of the action all evening long are Cameron Frizzell and Ray Amdariz. A big thank you to our fine sponsors, Climax Moonshine, Fire Number 32, Balance of Nature, Serenity Springs Recovery Center, and HotelPlanner.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Phoenix Fury.
With, of course, the provocative masks, which get a lot of attention around the league. Lost 19-16 to Atlanta last week, upset. Got some very good fighters in Barrera, plus 11. Rico Santana, plus 9, the top fighter in the league. And Manuel Thunderman Villalobos, plus 8. Never know what you're going to get with him, but always a threat.
And that looked like the very famous Sean Porter leading them in with the flag, the great former welterweight champion.
Showtime. Porter manages one of the fighters on the card. He will get into that tonight,
The
too.
coaches of the Phoenix Fury are renowned trainers Sonny Gutierrez and Joe Guzman. Here is the starting lineup for Phoenix. Bantamweight Brenda Hernandez Cardenas. Featherweight James Pierce. Lightweight Kevin Quintero. Super lightweight Rebecca Irwin. Welterweight Demarius Watson. Middleweight Jordana Barrera. Super middleweight Sebastiana Solomon. Heavyweight Manuela Villalobos. Featherweight Melina Maibaum. Lightweight Daniel Bailey. Welterweight Joaquin Camberos. 2025 TBL Most Valuable Fighter. Light heavyweight Franco El Corojo Santana. Cruiserweight Charles CP the Champ Pugh. And the heavyweight of the Phoenix Fury, Cesar Navarro. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Phoenix Fury. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Las Vegas Hustle.
There you see the team that was 8-0 in the regular season last year, 5-fight win streak this year. So trying to go into the playoffs with a ton of momentum. Fighters like Darian Castro, plus 8. Harold Ruiz, plus 7. Johan Martinez being referenced, plus 7. This is a very deep Las Vegas team, not getting all the attention it got last year, and maybe that will be a positive thing going into the playoffs. There'll be less pressure on this team.
The coaches of the Las Vegas Hustle, renowned trainers Dewey Cooper and Big D David Hayes. Here is the starting lineup for Las Vegas. Featherweight Jordan Edwards. 2016 Olympic bronze medalist and two-time World Games champion, featherweight Joannis Argilagos. Former Pan American Games World Series of Boxing and multi-time Cuban national champion, lightweight Osvaldo Caballero. Super lightweight Joanna Nueveru. Welterweight Elena Medina. Super welterweight Dislan Ginza. Super middleweight Diane the Cuban Sniper de Pestre. Heavyweight Hyrek Ruiz. Featherweight Florencia Britos. Four-time Cuban national champion, welterweight Dariana Castro. Light heavyweight Yochenler Martinez. And cruiserweight Luis Portuondo. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Las Vegas Hustle. And now we ask that you all please rise, if you're able to, as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem being sung tonight by Laura Kincaid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Laura Kincaid with the singing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the launch rounds between the Phoenix Fury and Las Vegas Hustle. Round one will be in the featherweight division. Phoenix, Brenda Hernandez Cardenas. Las Vegas, Jordan Edwards.
Las Vegas has an 18-9 win over Phoenix on the board back on May 8th and got off to an 8-1 lead in the launch rounds there. So pay particular attention to the launch rounds and see if Phoenix is able to keep it closer at that spot. And here we go.
And Cardenas has a win this season over Jordan Edwards, a split decision, very, very close fight. So these two women are really pretty evenly matched up.
And we expect them to go right at each other, the style straight ahead in your face. So let's see what adjustments are made. And we see some initially from Cardenas trying to operate behind the jab and showing some movement.
Edwards just 1-10 this season, but 4 of those have been split decision losses. And like her last time out, she had to face Lizette Lopez and Erica Sanchez, you know, two of the top women in this division.
And, you know, we see her improve all throughout the season and be in some close ones. And then the question is, you know, can you maintain your character and keep on going, not get discouraged? So that's the big part of it that you're looking at. And Cardenas is 10-10 in TBL.
Yeah, and overall in this season 3-6, so she's had some ups and some downs. The Edwards match was a good one for her, and the last time out she split with Tia Tupu. They're both being very active and getting some good shots in.
And this is a situation where you do the scouting reports and you say, hey, regardless of the records, I feel like I'm even with this person. If I'm sub 500, so is she.
Yeah,
so
and their last fight proved it.
Yeah.
You know, split decision, very close. Cardenas loves to throw that overhand right, and she has gotten it in on occasion. Edwards responding with, Edwards probably has a better jab of the two, which is interesting because she comes more from an MMA background and boxing springs somewhat limited.
It is always interesting to watch the fighters come from other disciplines and then little by little they shine and they polish it and find things.
Heavyweight Danny Barlow is a perfect example of that. We've seen him develop as a boxer so quickly in TBL. And Edwards is one of those kind of people. Good shot there by Cardenas. Cardenas doesn't want to go back, and she is moving backwards, but she's actually counter-punching pretty well off the ropes, which is not her main forte.
Maybe to land a few good hooks in here. And this is for Edwards, the dilemma as she's coming over from MMA, coming straight in.
Yeah, the overhand right of Cardenas, we saw just another one land a moment ago. And that is going to be the question. Jordan Edwards is happy with her work. She feels like she got enough done to win. She might have. This was a close match. And Cardenas landing there, a nice kind of half jab, half hook. And Edwards was, very active. The straight right. Her punches are a little straighter than Cardenas. But Cardenas lands, there's that overhand right, and that is the calling card for Brenda Cardenas.
TBL fans, the winner of round one by way of unanimous decision. From Phoenix, Brenda Hernandez Cardenas.
So the power of Cardenas takes the point.
Round two at featherweight, Phoenix, James Pierce. Las Vegas, Joannis Arguilagos.
James Pierce, last two, a split loss to Manuel Sangroni, who we've seen as a very feisty fighter for Houston. A split with Jaden Alpo. He's 3-4. And Arguilagos' high water was a split with Sean Brewer last week, because we've seen Sean Brewer become one of the emerging top fighters in the league.
Yeah, Arguilagos, obviously, amazing credentials. The bronze medalist in the 2016 Olympics. He's 9-2-1 as a pro outside of TBL, still only 29, but he has had his ups and downs in this format, and this year especially. He's 5-6, but as you said, he came on a little bit last week, and that was a very good win for him.
Now, these teams have shown off their power, so let's look at how it gets decided. 1 point for the decision win, which will be many of the fights. A knockdown automatically gives you 2 points. 2 knockdowns is 3, and 4 if you get a knockout, a forfeit, disqualification. And we've seen many fighters be able to take that short route, maybe 1 knockdown, and then put on such pressure that the referee stops it. If you can get the referee to stop it, that's your best route to get 4 points for your team.
Arguilagos switching to lefty. He does that from time to time, and fighting from distance, which he likes to do, and he shows a lot of movement. Sometimes that hurts his offense because he's not long-armed. You see the height and reach advantage in this fight for Pierce. Now, not all that's getting in for Pierce, but it's volume, and he's the one doing more of the offensive work right now.
Yeah, it's good optics for Pierce.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the judges, as he looks like he's in control, whether they land or not, and even as he eats that right hand.
Pierce's last pro fight outside of TBL was on May 2nd, not that long ago. He lost a 4-round decision to Dylan Capetillo. So he's you know, he's got the 3-3 record here in TBL, and he'd like to get over that 500 mark.
Good work on the inside here by Pierce, and just keeping Argalagos at bay.
Yeah, Argalagos has struggled sometimes in this format because in the one round he just doesn't get to do enough offense, and this fight has kind of been an example of that.
And here is Pierce showing the urgency, moving laterally, getting some punches in. Argalagos trying to storm back now, but it has been Pierce getting off first throughout this contest.
Argalagos has a good overhand right when he can get it in. Now he's fighting as a lefty now, which means he's trying to land the right hook, but Pierce has been so much busier, and while some of the wider shots have been blocked by Argalagos, some of those uppercuts have really gotten in for Pierce.
So as the final seconds tick down, James Pierce did a great job being the ring general here. Do the judges like that?
That last 10 seconds of the round is what Johannes Argalagos wanted and what he normally wants in these fights, but somehow it takes him a hard time to get there. And here's where Pierce with the uppercut on the inside, and that's where Argalagos right at the end got his better offense working, but it was short sample
TBL
size.
fans, the winner of round 2 by way of unanimous decision, from Phoenix, James Pierce.
So the ring general gets a star, and Phoenix has 2 points.
Round 3 at lightweight, Phoenix, Kevin Quintero. Las Vegas, Osvela Caballero.
Well, love this individual rivalry. Caballero, you mentioned, a legend in TBL, 37-8. He's won 5 in a row. But guess who his last loss was to? The guy across the ring tonight.
Precisely.
Quintero had that clutch win in Boston against Herbert Francois. He'd be the 32-7 Caballero. So this is really an excellent battle.
Yeah, and Caballero, if you have not seen him fight before, as you look at his numbers on TBL, he has this amazing knack for an internal clock in his head where at about the 120 mark into the round, no matter how the rest of the round has gone, he just starts to take over. Which isn't to say he doesn't do work early, but that's when he really ends up shining. So we'll see.
I always love the horse racing analogy. He's a deep closer.
Yeah, very nice.
Whether you think of Zenyatta, or Silky Sullivan, or any of your favorite horses that can make those big moves late. You're right. He has made a science of pacing himself for that.
Yeah, in the loss to Quintero, he wasn't able to do that. And Quintero is a very solid technician in the ring.
Yeah, 4-3 in TBL, 6-0 as a pro with 2 draws outside of TBL, so used to fighting in close matches.
Yeah, and this is his debut season here, and as you said, he got right off to a big start with that fight over Francois early in the season, right at the beginning, to give them a win.
And it was a character-building triumph, too, because the coach had the faith to put him in round number 24 so early in his career.
Here comes Caballero now, coming on the inside and trying to get some offense working. This is usually the time of the round where he starts to really open up.
And you can sense it. The bounce in his stride, getting right on top of the action.
Quintero's using more lateral movement here than we normally see from him. I think feeling maybe that will make it harder for Caballero, but Caballero is pretty quick with his hands and his feet as well.
So Caballero trying to close ground. The boxing version of going to the whip.
Yeah, and look at, he's landing some nice right hands. Quintero's, for the most part, moving backward. Quintero has thrown some good counter punches.
A good shot here from Caballero. The closer. Look how he's cutting off the ring here, and the urgency.
It is fascinating. He always does this, and in this round, he's doing exactly that. You know, not everything's getting there, but he's landing some right hands. Quintero lands one nice one there, but then Caballero comes back with a sneaky right hand.
You wonder if maybe one day the team will con him and say, you know what, this is a minute-and-a-half fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, we lied.
Well, and now we'll see if Quintero did some good work. Here's where Caballero, we mentioned, was coming on and being very aggressive. Not everything getting in, of course, but he did some good work. Right hand clips the chin of Quintero, and another right sneaks in. And Caballero doing a good job of slipping punches, which Quintero did earlier in the round for sure, and that nice little sneaky uppercut. He did it again. Will it be enough?
TBL fans, the winner of round 3 by way of unanimous decision. From the Phoenix Fury, Kevin Quintero.
Apparently not enough with that comeback in the latter part of the round.
The wire came up too fast for Caballero, and that's interesting that you pointed out that style.
Las Vegas, Joanna
and he fought
Nwamaru.
exactly to that. All right, so now is the Joanna Nwamaru, charismatic new personality on the scene in TBL. 7-0 as a professional outside of TBL with 3 knockouts, and 5-8 here with 4 straight losses. But interesting, 2 losses to Erica Farias, whom she had beaten earlier. So she would like to right herself.
Yeah, and she's fought tough competition against Ariel Davis, Stacia Suttles, Latia Williams, among those fights. And she comes in here. She knows that Irwin, who is not a super experienced fighter at TBL, she is now 0-3 in TBL and doesn't have a lot of any other pro experience. She was in 3-0 as a kickboxer and fought in Muay Thai, but in boxing, oh my, big right hand.
We were about to say that there are bonus points available for Nwamaru, and there is one of them already. And she's come out with that fire, looking for the bonuses. The sense that this matchup could be very good for her. Let's see how she parlays.
And you know what's interesting? I mean, Rebecca is coming off 2 fights against Ariel Davis that she lost, but was not put down against Ariel Davis. And here Nwamaru is able to do that to get a 2-point, right now, what is a 2-point potential win.
But we saw Nwamaru box smartly against Davis, even though she lost, and it looked like a maturing process. And this looks like maybe a healthy throwback to the beginning of her stages in TBL, where not as concerned with the technique as she is with instinct.
That's a really good point, Dave. And she's a very good athlete, you know, strong athlete. She's a stunt woman. She's been a stunt woman in addition to an actress. She's, you know, she's involved. She's had a good career outside in boxing. And she's got some power, she showed. So, yeah, when she just attacks, she's a handful.
Yeah, sensing that this was the type of fight she didn't want to think too much. This one, get inside, let the hands go. So she's got a bonus point already. How much does she want to put her foot on the pedal? She's getting closer. There's a good right hand from Nwamaru.
And she set it up with a jab. And Rebecca Irwin getting herself in a bad position in that corner.
And Nwamaru trying to cut off the ring. Looping shot. She's put her team right back in it, because it started out 3-0 Phoenix. It's now going to be at least 3-2. And can she bring all of it back? There's a good right hand from Nwamaru.
The overhand right has been her big weapon in this match.
And there's a good example from a close range. And if she could put it in behind the jab, she can camouflage it just a little. But this was a very good, aggressive performance by Nuamaru, who gets bonus points.
She is as we mentioned, a fascinating woman. I mentioned all her other endeavors, runs a nightclub in Sofia, Bulgaria, and she could be her own bouncer based on that overhand, right?
Yes.
And you know, I mentioned that Irwin twice for 2 rounds against Ariel Davis didn't get knocked down, but she did here, and the corral says, ooh, looks like we got to win, and we needed that.
The best punch that Nuamaru has thrown in the TBL.
By way of unanimous decision. 2 points going to the Las Vegas Hustles, Joanna Nuamaru.
Well, Phoenix got off to the fast start that it wants, but Joanna Nuamaru says, with 1 punch, I get Vegas right there. We'll be back with more after this. We're back. It's 3-2, Phoenix over Vegas. And as we head inside for more of the money rounds, Ray Flores is with Sean Porter.
We are here with 2-time welterweight champion of the world, Showtime Sean Porter. Sean is here supporting the Phoenix Fury. Why so, Sean?
You know, I'm supporting TBL, but I do have a young lady fighting tonight. First fights here in the TBL, also in America. She's German. Melina Maybaum, we got together a year ago, finally got together to actually train for the last 2 months. Excited to see her go out to tonight and get 2 wins.
Sean, you have been a very big advocate of the sport of boxing in a variety of different ways, especially when it comes to the Team Boxing League. What are your thoughts on what Team Boxing League is doing, especially here in the 4th season?
I just love the concept. From day one, I always felt like boxing needed a shake-up. This is a cool concept, a cool shake-up, and my job now, it is what it is. Melina's here. I got to make sure that people are tuned in, watching this amazing way of getting fighters experience without getting them hurt, getting money in their pockets. Kind of list goes on, man. I really like the TBL.
And Sean, the one thing is the difference when it comes to the variety. You're only fighting 1 round at a time. What did you do to prepare Melina for this moment as a member of the Phoenix Fury?
Believe it or not, we still have a game plan, and I told her this 3 minutes is more than enough time for us to implement the game plan. So I'm looking forward to her doing what she got to do to win.
Sean, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck to Melina. We look forward to seeing you at future TBL events.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Former welterweight champion of the world, Showtime Sean Porter joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, round 5 will be in the welterweight division. For Phoenix, Demarius Watson. Las Vegas, Elena Medina.
Demarius Watson, 5-1 in TBL, was beaten by a 31-16 Javon Davis in the last outing on June 20th. Alan Medina, 26 years old from Vegas, is an original. He's an original, 15-23 on a 4-11 skid right now. Losses to Traquan Pettis and Ryan Zepoteka, so he'd like to turn that around.
Yeah, he's 2-4 this season, and how about this? Of his 38 TBL fights, 14 have ended in split decisions. He's 8-6 in those. So
you talk about somebody who knows how to fight to the formats of the league. And that's a pretty good performance, 8-6 in the splits.
Yeah, in the splits, right. And he's he's very much a boxer. He's a clever, technical boxer. Demaryius Watson, who came into TBL this season, he's 11-0 outside it, and honestly has fought better fighters in the TBL than he was fighting in the rest of boxing. And he has stood up very well with a 5-1 record, and he's got 2 wins over Osvaldo Lopez, and which is important. And the same Osvaldo Lopez, by the way, who Darian Castro lost to, who he's going to face, Watson will face later this evening.
So Watson has been one of the newcomers making a mark in the league. Good right hand here by Watson. Phoenix up 3-2, 3 early wins, and then the right hand by Geronimo Nuamaru for Vegas got them back.
And Alan Medina, who has made this his pro home, he's only had 2 pro fights outside of TBL with all the experience in here. He's just a very good ring technician. You see him trying to control the distance, peck away with some jabs and straight left hands, and control the round. He's not a knockout artist. He's not a big power puncher.
And when you're a veteran, you've had all those split decisions as he's had. They certainly found the comfort zone to fight it. Nice lead right hand got in by Watson.
And a left hook. Watson has a very good left hook, and he can. Oh, and I think he hurt Medina there.
And he does too, as he gets right on top of Medina. Good right hand by Watson. Good left hook by Watson. All of a sudden, punches flailing away like pistons as he sees an opportunity. There's the good left hook. Good right hand by Watson. And Medina stood up there and took it.
He has 8 KOs, Watson, in his boxing outside of TBL in his 11 fights, so he's got power.
He delivered a terrific right hand that, to Medina's credit, he took.
Yeah, but Medina has taken some big shots from him in this round.
Uppercuts by Watson. Look how he moves to the side, tries to find an angle, just misses with the take your head off uppercut.
And Medina's trying hard to create some offense here right at the end of the round, but not able to really do it. And one left hook punctuates that round.
Also got the sense that Medina was also doing a little scoreboard sensing in his own mind. And let's not make this worse if I don't get the decision.
So big round for Watson, and there were some big punches landed. There's where he had Medina kind of in trouble, using both the left and the right. That overhand right, that was a beauty. And for Medina to stay upright against a power puncher is impressive.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 5 by way of unanimous decision. From the Phoenix Fury, Demaryius Watson.
So excellent start for Phoenix, and here's our round to watch.
Round 6 at middleweight. Phoenix, Yordan Barrera. Las Vegas, Dislan Ravo Ginza.
Yordan Barrera, 8 wins in a row, 4-0 this year, and he's had a certain look about him, the way he goes about doing his business. And Adriel Holmes, we saw what he did to Terrell Gausha. Excellent performances last time out.
He has created 9 points in his last 4 fights. A TKO over Raul Garcia, a knockdowns twice against Marcus Saldano, and then a 1-point win over Corey Cadd. I mean, he has been a human point-producing machine.
And as a result, you see that he has made it onto the leaderboard when we show you the divisions, and it's a good division. Giovanni Estella from Miami, formerly from New York, and there's Barrera in there, so we're seeing 2 of the honorees on that graphic going head-to-head.
Gainza lost his last time out to Angel Munoz. All 3 of his losses this year have come to Munoz. And that loss broke a 7-round win streak for Gainza, who has had a very nice season.
Yeah, Gainza overall 20-6, and yeah, he beat him. So this is two fighters in an upward ascent, and that's why they make an excellent round to watch here.
And if there's one difference between them, it probably is the power in Barrera. He's a little more of a puncher. You can see he just feels physically like a little bigger man in there, even though they're in the same weight class. And so that's the danger point a little bit for Gainza. Gainza trying to use the jab and the straight left hand, which both will be using, and there's Barrera using that as well.
Barrera takes an inside shot as he gets set and fires the jab, but didn't like what he saw, so he left it there and did not lunge.
This is one of those fights where fighters are not going to get greedy. They're going to look to land what they can land, and they don't want to put themselves too much in harm's way against the other fighters. Both of these men are quick-handed.
Barrera coming in, taking his chances, trying to be the aggressor here.
Yeah,
Gainza tying up.
You said it best, Dave, taking his chances, and that's what Gaines has been a little more reluctant to do in this round.
Well, Barrera has been able to fire off the mark. Very sharp, good left hand here by Barrera. Good repositioning as well. So from this perspective, now he heard that 10-second warning and may have thought that was the end of the round and turned his back for a second and then turned back. Fortunately, he caught himself in time there. And that was a nice wire-to-wire effort by Barrera.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was the one that was the most busy and threw the most punches. So at the end of the day, you would think that's ultimately going to be the differential. Good straight left hand by Barrera. Gainza had a couple of good moments with some combinations like that, but for the most part, Barrera, there you see him sticking the jab in, did most of the work.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 6 by way of split decision. From Las Vegas, Disneyland, Bravo Gainza.
All right, so Gainza gets it for Las. Circle that one as far as, and you look at
round
big
7
moments
at
later
super
on.
middleweight. Phoenix, Sebastian Solomon. Las Vegas, Diane DePestre.
Solomon comes off of a split with Devin Thorne, and DePestre is 29-20 in Team Boxing League. He has up and downs. 4-4 this year. He's had win streaks of as many as 6, and last time had a split with Keandre Leatherwood, and 2-0 with Devin Thorne back in April.
Yeah, Duran lost his first 5 in TBL, but he's 3-1 since, and he's been putting on some really good performances and facing, of course, as you point out, an experienced and good TBL fighter.
All right, as this one goes on, Sophia is standing by with one of the top performers in the league, Darian Castro. All you, Sophia.
Darian, right now, this fight can go either way. Your team is really fighting its way to get those points on the scoreboard. What else do you guys need to do to keep that momentum going? Ahorita las peleas se pueden ir para cualquier lado, para Las Vegas o Phoenix. ¿Qué es lo que tienen que hacer para poner más puntos en el scoreboard?
Yo pienso que esta parte del equipo nosotros todavía no es la era buena. Nosotros tenemos buenos peleadores para las rondas finales y creo que ahí se va a desemparejar el tope por completo.
They're starting a little slow, but they know that their fighters to watch and can really score big are in the middle and last rounds. Gracias, Dorian.
De nada.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Sophia. And that's a good point. We're going to keep our eyes on the middle and the later rounds, and let's see if his perspective hangs over that.
And DePestre, with 2 wins over Duran, you know, came in here with some confidence. So he'd like to repeat that performance against him.
So for Phoenix, the high water mark was that early lead, 3-0 and then 4-2. Vegas trying to parlay and put 2 rounds on the board consecutively here. And this is the guy that it's a good selection to try and do it.
DePestre showing us that really good left jab that he has. It's a very solid punch for him. And he used it when he beat Keandre Leatherwood for one of his victories the last time out. And Leatherwood's a good fighter. Duran is normally not that much of a backwards fighter as he's been in this round. He took a good right hand from DePestre. He is normally a little bit more aggressive.
One of them kind of made him a little bit more conservative, and he pays the price by taking 2 jabs and a right hand. And DePestre is feeling it right now.
Yeah, DePestre's power may have, as you point out, made him more defensive early in the round.
And DePestre with a flourish.
DePestre putting his punches together, a nice uppercut, and then there with the jab and the straight right. Not everything getting there, but a good indication. And there's more of that work with the jab. That punch really controlled this round for DePestre. And we'll see how it turns out with the judges.
TBL Vance, the winner of round 7 by way of unanimous decision. From the Las Vegas Hustle, Diana DePestre.
All right, so Vegas has made it all the way back from an early
Our
deficit.
final launch round in the heavyweight division. Phoenix Manuel Villalobos, Las Vegas Jairek Ruiz.
2 very good fighters right now. Villalobos, we've seen him get a couple of timely knockout victories. And Ruiz has been a solid performer. When we did our power rankings early in the year, he's one of my fighters to make a mark for his team, and he is up to 7-2 this year.
Yeah, he's performed very well. Good technician in the ring. Not a monstrous power guy, although he's put those 7 points on the board. Now, Villalobos, a power puncher with a good overhand right, and Ruiz has been down. He was knocked down by Jason Beauchamp in a unanimous decision loss earlier in the year.
Now, Ruiz does have 2 wins over Villalobos. Let's see if that repeats itself or whether the power of either fighter is the defining moment tonight. Ruiz moving and then trying to operate the jab. And that's a good way to fight someone like Villalobos, who does his best work when he gets on top of you.
Yeah, if you can use movement, and Ruiz is very good at that. He's a good heavyweight. He fights more like a cruiserweight in a way, and he's not a big heavyweight. And he will move and use his combinations if he can. And Villalobos likes to do this, to really rip some big shots on the inside, or when he gets a chance with the overhand right. Don't see Villalobos switch to lefty very much, but he just did.
No. Big man tries to look light on his feet as he does it. And here is a good comeback from Ruiz. Now, Villalobos has been an opportunist. His knockouts have vaulted Phoenix into the lead in matches they eventually won. And you get the sense they need something big from him in a lot of these fights if he can deliver that for them.
Yeah, and right now it would be a momentum changer because, you know, Las Vegas has come back with these couple of victories.
And also Ruiz is doing a real nice job boxing him.
And Ruiz staying in the pocket now. He's moving more before, but now I think he feels like he can be there and get some more work done offensively, but then he gets back on his bike. And of course, with Villalobos, you're always one punch away from danger. But Ruiz's hand speed has really controlled this round.
He has boxed too with the perfect style against the aggressive, albeit sometimes lumbering, Villalobos. You want to get the side-to-side movement. He's able to do that. Very good display here by Pyrick Ruiz. This is a smart fight, an example of somebody taking what the style gave him tonight.
Well, Ruiz demonstrating what a good overall technician he is. He won the bronze medal at the World Championships when he's an amateur. A lot of international experience for the Cuban team. So that's showing up here in this fight. And there's the good hand speed by Ruiz. As Villalobos ended up on the ropes. And just those are good combinations by Ruiz. And the hand speed difference was, I think, the difference in this fight. We'll see.
TBL fans, the winner of round 8 by way of unanimous decision. From the Las Vegas Hustle, Pyrick Ruiz.
So we come to the end of the launch rounds. Each team has a little something to be happy about. Phoenix is sticking with Vegas, and Vegas came all the way back, starting with that big right by Nuamaru, and they will take a lead into the middle rounds. There's a thing of beauty, the Santa Monica Pier. And we're watching a thing of beauty here with Vegas and Phoenix in the TBL. 5-4 for Vegas after the launch rounds. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein. We've seen a little bit of everything that we were looking for so far, including the grittiness of both teams.
Yeah, no panic by Las Vegas after they lost the first 4 rounds. And even though we haven't seen any split decisions, we saw a lot of close rounds in those first 8. And honestly, I think it's going to continue that way.
Yeah, both teams showing up tonight. Let's take a look via the highlights and get our launch round story. It began good for Phoenix in round number 1 with Brenda Cardenas going against Jordan Edwards. Edwards, a straight-ahead type of a fighter, and Cardenas able to move laterally, then throw some good hooks, some good heavy right-hand leather, and it was important for Phoenix that she get them off to a good lead, and she did, and at one point they led 3-0.
And then in fight number 4, round number 4, Joanna Nwamaru against Rebecca Irwin. Nwamaru has been fighting some very tough competition. Tonight, she was the tough competition. She nailed Irwin with a big right hand and did something even Ariel Davis couldn't do. Knock Irwin down.
All right, so here we are, so close, and now we go to the middle rounds for the round to watch. You know, we had such a hard time picking these because there was so much to choose from, and this is another great one here.
It really is. It's round number 14, light heavyweights, and this is one we were really looking forward to. Raiko Santana and Johanna Martinez, and they have fought each other twice this season, and guess what? They're 1-1 against each other, a demonstration of just how close this rivalry is and why we think that'll be a really good match.
Reminder of their earlier matchup. Vegas got off to the big start, and they were even in the money rounds. Well, we're even now. If we're even in the money rounds and the middle rounds this time, we're going to have some home stretch with the money rounds.
Yeah, we really will, and I think it speaks to the fact that these teams are pretty well matched. Of course, Las Vegas has done better in the overall record department, but when you look down the rosters of these two teams, Phoenix, when they perform at their best, can be of threat to Las Vegas.
All right, so for Phoenix, a little bit of a confidence booster so far to get that early lead over Vegas. And then the only thing missing from this team right now is a little bit of pop. They could use that from somebody. That would do a lot for them.
Yeah, and that was the difference in the lunch rounds, the one knockdown for Las Vegas.
All right, so it's 5-4 for Vegas here. Let's send it inside now for the middle rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the middle rounds between the Phoenix Fury and Las Vegas Hustle. Round 9 at featherweight. Phoenix, Melina Maibaum. Las Vegas, Florencia Britos.
We mentioned at the top, Maibaum, trained by Sean Showtime Porter, a two-time welterweight champion. Yeah, he beat guys like Devin Alexander, Danny Garcia. What a performer in his time, and now training this fighter who you had a good chance to take a good look at her past fights.
Yeah, she is, you know, she's 14-1 as a pro with 6 KOs and has fought at a high level. She had the WBC International Super Bantamweight title, kind of a regional title, but an important one. She lost it to Phanalak Kongsong in Bangkok. It was a pretty close fight. She didn't get the decision. The ending up judges' scorecards a little wider than it might have been, but she's an aggressive fighter who likes to come forward. And you'll see her attacking Florencia Britos, who, as we saw in her last fight when she beat Erica Sanchez, she knows how to counterpunch and attack her.
Sanchez and Lizette Lopez back-to-back. She snapped an 8-fight win streak and a 7-fight win streak. So maybe her name will become the heartbreaker, Florencia Britos. So that's how it stacks up, but it's going to be interesting to see what type of influence Sean Porter has had on Maibaum. You heard him very high on her potential.
Yeah, right now, Britos is pushing her back, which is interesting. All the video I watched of Maibaum, she was the one coming forward. So, and there's a nice right hand by Britos. I didn't expect, I don't know if you did, I didn't expect Britos to be pushing her back.
No, for Britos, she didn't look at the film. You did. Here's somebody coming in. I'm going to go right at her.
Yeah.
And that's interesting about what information is available, because Britos is going at Maibaum as if she was another newcomer coming into the league.
Exactly, Dave. That's a very good point. And because we know Britos can box effectively, and like we said, against Sanchez, an attacker, she counterpunched well. She is taking it upon herself to move Maibaum back. And that isn't normally the way Maibaum fights.
Double left hook here by Britos. So you've got a a grizzled veteran of the TBO format against somebody, world-class fighter from outside TBO coming in here, and that's why we're seeing this matchup.
And right now, cut on the left eye of Britos, which may have come from a clash of heads. I don't know. It could be a factor here, but Britos continues to fight through it and fight very well. But who knows if that will derail her for later tonight when she's supposed to fight again.
Good hook by Britos, and then the real concern too is, Vegas is in the playoffs, and you get an injury to one of your top fighters, and you have to be out for a while. That's a scary thing for a team's playoff hopes. On the other side of that, you figure we'll rest fighters, but some fighters need the reps.
Yeah, and Britos is really important. She is the key component on the women's side for Las Vegas. And she's fighting very well in this round.
Yes, she's fighting somebody who maybe even a little better than she knew, and really an inspired performance. Carrying forward the momentum of Sanchez and Lopez, and now a good look at that eye.
We'll see where that happened during the round. There's an overhand right. And then Britos continued to do great work. That might have come from a punch. Yeah, not from a clash of heads.
We saw both. We saw the punch and the clash. And actually, referee seeming to indicate a clash from what we saw on that.
TBO fans, the winner of round 9 by way of unanimous decision. From Las Vegas, Florencia Britos.
All right, so Britos captures it.
Round 10 at featherweight, Phoenix, James Pierce. Las Vegas, Ioannis Argilagos.
Okay, rematch from fight number 2, in which Pierce did a real good job for Phoenix in getting his team a 2-0 lead. I'll tell you, there are all types of fascinating potential scenarios for Britos down the road to the money line rounds when they look at that cut. If you have to scratch her, do you lose the 4 points? Are you willing to do it because you're already in the playoffs and you can't afford an injury to her? That's going to be a fascinating development later.
Yeah, a lot for them to think about on the Las Vegas team. Pierce, who, as you said, did very well against Argilagos the first time they fought, coming forward, but Argilagos standing his ground a little more than he did in the first encounter.
Yeah, he's had about close to an hour to stew on that, and the beauty of this for all the fighters is you get a chance to right the ship against the same guy within a short period of time.
In the last part of that round, maybe the last 20 seconds, Argilagos was able to push Pierce back and land some good left hooks and some overhand rights, and but now he's back in the same posture where he's the one retreating, and Pierce is landing some really good shots, including some great uppercuts. There it is again, the uppercut.
Argilagos gave you about a minute of adjustment, and then Pierce was able to take that away momentarily. This is going to go back and forth. This is a great cat and mouse struggle between these guys who know each other very well now. The left uppercut attempted by Pearson and the right hand counter by Argilagos.
When you watch Argilagos in these fights, it almost gets a little frustrating because there are moments when he unleashes that overhand right or the really good left hook, and then sometimes it just stays in the holster.
Man, almost like a peekaboo type of an approach. And that's where, if you're fighting him, hey, you can just stay outside and pop the jab, not even have a big risk, and get points.
Pierce switching to righty. He's back to the left-handed stance, but for a moment he was in the conventional stance.
Been an effective lefty too. That would have been a unique change. Pierce tried to get the jab to set up the straight left hand, but Argilagos was gone. They tried to muscle him into position to get that. Pierce is trying to cut off the ring and laboring to do it, yet you still look like you're the attacker. Maybe this is one reason he went righty, to try and do that.
Yeah, good left hook by Argalagos. And again, when he throws that punch, when he stands in the pocket and will throw the hook or the overhand right, he can land it.
So Pierce, again, was the general as he was in round 2, and let's see if he is rewarded again.
And one of the staples of his attack has been the uppercut. He's used that punch a lot in this fight against a shorter man. And that one was delivered from an interesting angle in a place where you normally wouldn't throw the uppercut. And there again, you see, and you see him stepping to the side, showing terrific ring awareness, and made it impossible for Argalagos to get anything done. Argalagos landing a nice straight right hand, and again, from time to time, he'll show you his offense.
TBL fans, the winner of round 10 by way of unanimous decision. From the Phoenix Fury, James Pierce.
Important double for Pierce for Phoenix. Back within 1.
Round 11 at featherweight, Phoenix, Brenda Hernandez Cardenas. Las Vegas, Jordan Edwards.
A replay of round number 1 in which Cardenas outfought again Jordan Edwards. Their team needs her to do it again to pull even.
And that was a very, very close round, but the judges kind of like the power punches of Cardenas.
All right, we just saw Florencia Britos in the ring, and now she is with Sofia.
Florencia, usually we see fighters who have already fought fighters and they're going against for the second, third, fourth time, whatever it is. You being a TBL seasoned vet, going against someone who was making her debut, is there anything that she did that surprised you?
Is there anything what? Sorry?
Did she surprise you?
No, at all. The headbutt, but the rest we both have 2 feet, 2 hands. Let's see what can do best.
Now you are going to be facing her again in round 17. Do you think the gash next to your eye is going to affect in any way?
It's going to affect her for sure.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, that's a good piece of information. Thank you, Sofia. So she figures on coming back, and that's a big news nugget, at least for now.
Yeah, and she feels like it's she's very determined to make her opponent pay for what she feels was a clash of heads. And my bomb, I will say, in her championship fight, the one I watched, there were some clashes of heads. So she's an aggressor, and she comes in head first, and sometimes that makes that happen.
I've got 2 aggressive fighters here halfway through.
Yeah. Edwards is doing a good job with those straight punches, but Cardenas, you know, is always an attacker.
And there's a nice, from an off-angle right hand by Cardenas, and then Edwards trying to score the hook. And you see the looping right hand by Cardenas, and the opportunity it would give Edwards to crank a short hook.
Yeah, and she's trying to do that. We just saw Edwards trying to use a hook to keep her in front of her. One of the interesting things I think about this kind of fight is the punches Cardenas is throwing, like that overhand right. It's such an easy punch, and there's a beautiful straight right. It's an easy punch for the judges to see and appreciate. And so the work Edwards is trying to do isn't as pronounced.
And you contrast that with, while you're on the inside of the clinches, why throw a few punches? They may not see those punches, but the obvious one's very important. And also, some of the savvy fighters don't like to throw punches in certain areas where they think the judges are shielded.
And I'll tell you, Cardenas has landed a lot of rights. There was a good right hand by Edwards, but Cardenas has just found a home with that right hand. Both Benitez again twice.
Jordan cranking up the right hand.
It's a good round of boxing. Well, Jordan Edwards feels like she won it. She thought she won the first time. This is, Cardenas thinks it too, though, because she landed a lot of those overhand rights.
The definitive shots for Cardenas. Edwards got some in late. Maybe that led to her optimism.
A little short left hook by Edwards, but a right hand by Cardenas. And that was one of the Edwards right hands that landed, but it was Cardenas that often, and there's an example of the right, and she keeps throwing after that. We'll see.
TBL fans, the winner of round 11 by way of split decision. From the Phoenix Fury, Brenda Hernandez Cardenas.
Heavier shots by Cardenas. For Edwards, if she ever is able to bring that jab into her attack, her fortunes will
Round
improve.
12 at lightweight, Phoenix, Daniel Bailey. Las Vegas, Osvaldo Caballero.
All right, so again, Phoenix off to a fast start at the top of a segment.
5 of the 12 losses for Jordan Edwards have been by split decision.
Yeah, and that's why
frustrating time.
And when you look at if she is able to bring that in, that jab, and that's certainly doable. So we're going to watch her. Here we go with Bailey and Caballero. Bailey 10-6 did squeeze a 7-fight win streak into his career. Now we've seen a little bit of power tonight. 2 points if you get a knockdown, 3 for 2 knockdowns, 4 if you stop your opponent, or even better, get the referee to step in when you're in the middle of a flurry.
Well, Daniel Bailey is a 4-time Army champion. He's also an amateur champion. And he's coming in here, though, off being stopped by Josh Johnson on April 17th. This is his first time back since returning from that stoppage. So we'll see how that impacts him.
You would normally think it might make you a little bit gun-shy, which is not good for this format. So you have to shake that off.
Yeah, because you got to make something happen in the first round. Now, in the only round. Now, Caballero is not known as a giant power puncher. You know, he's a good puncher, but he's not by nature a knockout puncher.
We are knotted up in a real good one. Phoenix and Vegas 6-6. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. Here's the approaching Caballero, trying to get that hook in, but Bailey was moving.
Bailey has shown a lot of lateral movement in this match. I don't know if that augurs well for him in terms of the judges seeing offense for him, but he has moved well.
And he walks into a good right hand by Caballero, who senses an opportunity for damage. And here's Caballero opening up with his best opportunity of this fight. He sensed something with that right hand.
What else would he do in the final stages of a round? He does it all the time. And he does have 5 knockouts in his 6 pro fights beyond the TBL. So it's not as if he can't get a stoppage. And now he is showing some power against Bailey, as we said, coming in off being stopped. Nice right again by Caballero.
Here comes the closer. It's a different gear. This time it wasn't the clock, it was the right hand that got him going. And he put on, again, a good final minute. If they had a category for best final minute fighter of the circuit, he might be the guy.
And, you know, it is just amazing that he does it almost every match. And there's that right that you talked about that started the issues for Daniel Bailey and ignited Osvaldo Caballero. And he continued to fire away, landing yet another right and getting Bailey in a bad spot in that corner and raining right hands on him.
TBL fans, the winner of round 12 by way of unanimous decision. From the Las Vegas Hustle, Oscar La Caballero.
All right, so Vegas and
score,
Phoenix
Las Vegas 7
take
and
turns
Phoenix
jockeying for the lead. We are in the middle of a good one, 7-6 for Vegas, and we'll be back to look at the second half of the action after this.
Welcome back. We are here at Thunder Studios where the Las Vegas Hustlers are up by 1 against the Phoenix Fury, 7-6. Now, I am joined with Robert Lyons, who is the director of the Manny Pacquiao Foundation. Talk to me about the foundation and what it does.
Manny Pacquiao founded the foundation many years ago, and basically what we do is we raise awareness and raise money in trying to help basically the youth of the world. It's not just for the Philippines. We've actually done work here locally in Long Beach, Chicago, Cambodia, and recently I was in the Philippines where we passed out gloves and shoes to fighters that normally wouldn't have an opportunity to own them for themselves.
Oh, Robert, that's amazing. Now, can you talk to us about your role as a director for the Manny Pacquiao Foundation?
Well, for example, one thing we're doing right now, Manny Pacquiao is originally from General Santos in the Philippines, and he got devastated by an earthquake. So right now we're raising money to help the people in General Santos. His son, Michael Pacquiao, is a city councilman for General Santos. His sister-in-law, Lorelei, she's the mayor of General Santos, and his brother is the governor of the region of Sarangani. So what we're doing is we're raising money here in the United States, sending it back there to help rebuild General Santos. It's going to take a long time for them to get back to normal life.
Well, it's great things that you guys are doing. Happy to have you here and excited to have Manny be joining the TBL team here in Season 5. Now we're going to send it back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. We salute that humanitarian effort with high-level people. And let's go inside now and pick up the middle rounds.
Round 13 at welterweight, Phoenix, Joaquin Gamberos. Las Vegas, Darian Castro.
Hey, Castro has had as much of a 7-fight win streak, was 2-3 at one point this year, and then caught fire. 22-6 overall, and 2 wins over Javon Davis for him. And Camberos has been really multiple fortunes. 8-0 outside of TBL, 3-3 here.
This is the 4th lefty he's facing in his TBL bouts this season. He's 1-3 against those lefties. So tonight he will face that again in the very impressive Darian Castro.
All right, so as they get ready to wing it here, Sophia standing dive with Yordan Barrera. You got it, Sophia. I will wait for that to get resolved. And here's Gamberos and Castro mixing it up here. Again, one of the top fights that we've been looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, Castro 9-3, and you know, he beat Jose Chole, and you know, he's on a 7-round win streak. He's just a solid fighter. We know Castro has power. His knockout of Adonis Wilkins earlier this year. He was knocked down by Osvaldo Lopez in week 1, so he suffered that, but he has plenty of power.
Good left hand here by Castro. And you can just see the confidence as his win streak has gone up and what he's done in helping his team.
So far, from a ring geography standpoint, I think Camberos has done a pretty good job of controlling it, although there he gets pinned on the ropes, and that's that combination punching from Castro that is oftentimes so good.
Castro tried to convince Camberos perhaps the geography's overrated in that case. We do love ring generalship, but when you can go and work these body punches like he has, that can erase it.
Yeah, offense will negate ring generalship.
Oh, and the two things, the good left hand and the heads nearly clashed badly there.
Which often happens with lefties and righties, of course.
Good body shot here by Castro.
Nice jab also thrown in by Camberos. I think this has been a closer round than Darian Castro was anticipating, to be honest. He has a gaudier record, and he's probably went into this match kind of the favorite. And he hasn't completely dominated, even though he's done a lot of good work.
He's landed some good body shots, but he's had a lot to overcome. And a reminder there by Camberos that you can't just walk right in. And let's see. Based on the body language, well, now they both think they have it. So we shall see.
The tall, lanky Camberos did get caught on the ropes here. That was one of those moments when we saw that. We've seen Castro pin fighters on the ropes and do that continually this season. And he attacked very well there. Sometimes he took some jabs and straight right hands, as he did there, coming in against Camberos. And there's an uppercut thrown from a position no boxing coach will ever tell you to throw it.
TBL fans, the winner of round 13 by way of split decision. From Phoenix, Joaquin Camberos.
Well, stayed alive long enough to put yourself in position.
Even at 7.
Sonny Gutierrez loves it. That's a nice win for him. Darius Castro,
round 14 and
most surprised person in the building.
Phoenix, Raico Santana.
All right, our round to watch.
Las Vegas, your Chandler Martinez.
Raico Santana and Johanna Martinez. Santana, the most valuable fighter in the league last year, 10-2 this year. And a split with Martinez when they fought. Raico won the first one, and then Martinez came back and won the second. Both were close.
Yeah, the second one was a split decision for Martinez in the win. And for Santana, he comes in off 2 wins over Jason Rosario, former world champion, knocked down Rosario in the second one of those, and he is a all-out attacker and a power puncher.
And he's had big win streaks over the course of time, right up there with Jesse Hart, and Martinez had 2 wins over Hart to get himself into that list you're looking at there. That's also another good division. And now this is an important battle as far as leadership here for Phoenix. They're right there, 7-7. This is one of their best fighters.
Yeah, and he's taking on a good one. You know, 9-3 Martinez and 10-2 Santana. This is what you hope for in team boxing.
Martinez started 6-0. He's 3-2 since then. Interestingly for him, both of the losses have been avenged on the same night.
Yeah.
So he was able to, you talk about the TBL format, you get a chance to even it up, and both times he did.
Martinez's plan, I think, in this big left hook by Santana. I think that the strategy of Martinez is to hold when Santana gets on the inside so you can't work, and then try and get back to reset at distance. Martinez has a really good right hand, but he needs room to throw it.
And again, the holding and the warning about the hitting, but they haven't identified Martinez as the one holding more. So far, he's been able to avoid anything punitive. You still have a minute to go.
See, there again, Martinez holds a minute, Santana gets close, and again, not really anything from the ref on that.
At some point now, I think we should see it, because there's been, now we've seen it 5 times in the last 40 seconds, and we're getting some indication, but here it is.
And Santana's kind of enabling this a little by rushing in and getting too close right away. He should jab his way in and give himself some distance. There's Martinez now fighting back and using a good overhand right, but again, the holding tactic that does not look good. I don't know why the ref are stuck in Santana.
Yeah, and it's the type of thing, won't happen here with the time running out. It's the type of tactic that can cost you a point.
And I understand why he's doing it. Mark, he doesn't want Santana to be able to work on the inside. He's good at doing that, but
no, I guess survival is going to trump the subtlety then in this case. You don't want to make it look like you're doing it as you're doing it.
Yeah, I guess. The referee was kind of indifferent to it, so I guess it doesn't matter. Here's where Santana attacking and getting some pretty good shots in before he's wrapped up again by Martinez. Martinez did counter back on some occasions. There's a nice right hand by Martinez. But his offense was muted a little bit by the attack of Santana. We'll see what the judges think.
TBL fans, the winner of round 14 by way of split decision from the Las Vegas Hustle, your Chandler Martinez. Round 15 at cruiserweight, Phoenix, Charles Pugh. Las Vegas, Luis Portuando Cala.
Charles Pugh, an interesting run last year, 19 wins in a row in 2025 and 26. None of them were split. So what that's telling you is 19 wins, 3 judges each fight. I mean, it's 57 scorecards in a row. Had you winning, what a run he had last year, but it's been tougher this year.
3 of the 6 losses this season are, in fact, by split decisions for this 38-year-old. And he's 4-6 this season, and so it hasn't been as perfect as he wants. Portuando, 6-3. One of the Cuban folks in here tonight who is not a left-hander. He has an aggressive all-out style. Oh, my. Pugh got the last word in there, didn't he?
Big right-hand bomb from Pugh. And 2 of his losses have been to Portuando. So what a beautiful development for Charles Pugh. And we talked about Phoenix needed somebody with a bomb. And the guy that had 19 straight unanimous decisions is the one who delivers it for them here.
Portuando attacks. He kind of squares himself up, and Charles Pugh took advantage of that.
So now Charles Pugh has, for the moment, doing a math, has put Phoenix back in the lead with 2 points to his credit. Now, will he feel that was opportunity and not rush it, or will he try to parlay it?
Yeah, Portuando didn't appear to be hurt. Definitely a knockdown. There's a good right hand that got in and knocked him down. But it didn't look like Portuano was badly hurt, so Pugh may be thinking about whether he should attack wildly or super aggressively.
You have a decision to make, and it's based on Portuano coming at him. A wise decision by Pugh. Not to lunge in here. You want to make sure you at least keep that point in your pocket.
And as we often remind you here, it's team boxing. So he's got potentially 2 points on the board for the Fury, which would be valuable to them at this juncture. Maybe he doesn't want to risk having something bad happen.
Yeah, take what's offered to you, and now we're seeing the clutching and the grabbing. 1 minute to go. So we've seen some drama go Phoenix's way.
You know, it's interesting, Portuano doesn't seem to want to work on the inside. He usually does. There he's kind of just grabbing a little bit. There's the uppercut from Portuano. He's a very good inside fighter.
And, you know, we've seen Pugh in many of his fights be a straight-ahead plotter. Yes. But after that knockdown, he's got a point to protect. We're seeing a little bit more movement.
Yeah, that's really a good point, Dave. You know, it's not his normal style, but he's capable, obviously, of doing it a little bit because he has done it. And then he's now doing more of the tying up of Portuano on the inside, kind of a four-corner offense at this point for Charles Pugh. Happy to take his 2 points and go sit down on the corral.
All right, so they will get to the end. It was a very good scrap, and Charles Pugh delivers the bomb Phoenix was looking for.
Well, here's what changed this fight. Nice right hand, and sends Portuano down. Good counter right hand by Pugh, as Portuano really, and he emphasizes how well he did. Portuano squared himself up, and Charles Pugh, that man, took advantage of it.
You have to love how he leaped into that opportunity, too.
The winner of round 15 by way of unanimous decision. 2 points going to the Phoenix Furies, Charles Pugh. Our final medal round in the heavyweight division. Phoenix, Cesar Navarro. Las Vegas, Jairek Ruiz.
All right, Cesar Navarro comes off a win against the 19-4 Samuel Clarkson. It's a very good one. Lost his first 2 fights to Kai Brooks and is 3-2 since then. Ruiz beat Patrick Malata and Jonathan Rice on the same night. Also has 2 wins over Manuel Villalobos, so he's got had big performances in him too.
Ruiz was so effective earlier in that Villalobos fight, and with his boxing and combination punching. And Navarro is an attacker, and you see it there. He the good record that Ruiz has. Navarro would like to do something about that. It's his first season, and that knockdown he scored over Samuel Clarkson in his win for Navarro shows he's got power.
And he's got a lot to fight for here, as Phoenix has stayed right with Las Vegas. At the top of the show, we told you that Vegas had gotten a big lead in the launch rounds, their first outing, and that the middle rounds were even before Vegas pulled away and won by 9. Well, Phoenix is right there, as we have last fight in the middle rounds.
Yeah, the middle rounds 4-4 the last time, and these are very close as well. But the difference is those launch rounds were also pretty close. Ruiz putting punches together to try and keep Navarro off him, and of course laying points, obviously. And Navarro was knocked down by Devin Young, so he's susceptible to a good counterpunch. Young landed a good counterpunch against him. And that was on the same night that he scored a knockdown against Samuel Clarkson. So, give and take.
Minute to go in this middle rounds, and opportunities here for Ruiz as he steps in and then goes on different angles and lands a couple shots.
Navarro switched to lefty for a little while, then went back to righty. When Ruiz gets you on the ropes, you can plan on getting hit with the combinations and then having him move smartly to give you angles. It happens every time he gets a fighter on the ropes.
And he's shown that here. All of a sudden, he gets you in the corner, and the big man is light on his feet. Good angles here. Shows you the jab, the movement. Really good ring IQ here for him.
Well, again, the amateur credentials that he has are amazing with the Cuban team, and you know, he came into the pro ranks with all that, and we're seeing cruiserweight hand speed and movement from him.
It's a good intangible with the big fighter. So it will go to the judges, and one way or another, we will leave the middle rounds close.
There's Ruiz with the working the combinations. Navarro able to occasionally get something in offensively, but not that often. And when he's against the ropes, that's when Ruiz really goes to town. This former bronze medalist in the World Amateur Championships shows his technique.
TBL fans, the winner of round 16 by way of split decision from the Las Vegas Hustle, Pyrex Ruiz.
So Pyrex
At the end of the middle rounds, we are
puts the last one in the pocket for Las Vegas, and we are all knotted up at 9. Good opportunities for both, and an exciting money rounds up next. All knotted up as we get set for the money rounds. What drama between Phoenix and Las Vegas, and this is a very good performance and a bolstering thing, I think, Al, for the Phoenix team after losing to Atlanta to be this close to one of the league's elite teams.
Yeah, they're right there, and the closeness of this match is now accentuated when in the middle rounds we had a spate of split decisions to show just how close these rounds are, and we said after the first launch rounds that that was likely to happen.
Yeah, the middle rounds were like that. So let's see how we got here from a highlight standpoint to get to this draw. And the highlights in the middle rounds, round number 9, Florencia Britos and Melina Maibach, the prodigy, so to speak, for Sean Showtime Porter. And a big moment in here comes at the end, a clash of heads, and Britos getting the worst of that, but she did get the call, and that was a good development for Vegas.
For the Phoenix Fury at a time when they needed it to move ahead a little bit, or try to, Charles Pugh, their cruiserweight, knocked down Luis Portuando of Vegas, and Charles Pugh, the 38-year-old veteran, added 2 points to the total of Phoenix.
And for Phoenix, that's not the guy they thought was going to deliver the bomb, so that's very good for them. A nice unexpected source of power. Now let's go to the money rounds, which will be very significant. We'll explain that, too, as we go. What's the round to watch?
Yeah, we're going to go for round 21 welterweights. Demarius Watson against Darian Castro. And Watson won his first match against Alan Bedino, and Castro, though probably favored, did not win his first battle. He lost to Camberos. So Castro going in with maybe a chip on his shoulder. He thought he won it, and some confidence for Watson.
We'll explain the money rounds drama as we go. Right now, Sophia has an interview.
Yes, I'm here with the president and founder of Community First Action, Michael Harry O'Harris. Great to have you here.
Great to be here, as always.
Now, can you talk to us a little bit about the foundation and what it does?
Well, it's bipartisan, but it's more about policies, things that help enrich communities. We fight for that. We advocate for that. If it's a candidate that supports jobs in the communities, prison reform, choose school choice, things that makes the community stronger and better, access to capital, then that's what we support. And those are the people we connect with, and we try to connect them to organizations in the community that's doing the work. And that's why we like working with TBL, because TBL is a new form of boxing, but it's a community form of boxing. And so to be able to work with them for the last couple of years and go to different cities and be able to try to identify different organizations in those communities that we can work with is a match made in heaven.
Now, can you talk to me more about the positive impact that you guys have made in these communities?
Look, we do food drives. We help people see. We help communicate in a digestible way what people need to focus on so they don't get caught up in all of the gray noise when it comes to elections. But we help bring jobs to the community. We help work with expungements in terms of people getting their records cleared so they can have jobs. We did a lot of stuff. We bring coatings to the communities and inside incarcerated, teach people through different organizations that I work with how to get those skill sets so they can come home and be productive citizens.
Well, we're very happy to have you here, and thank you for all the work that you guys are doing in the communities. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. And the money rounds drama is straight ahead. Let's go inside and get right to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the money rounds between the Phoenix Fury and Las Vegas Hustle. Round 17 at featherweight. Phoenix, Melina Maibach. Las Vegas, Florencia Britos.
The money rounds is when the coaching comes into play. Usually the way it starts is I say, okay, first money round I'm going to take this fighter. You have to come up with a fighter to face that one. And then it's your turn to pick a fighter, and I have to counter it. So then they're going back and forth with all of that, and they're trying to project how it will work out and then what will be the key moment at the end. And so that's the lineup juggling. You know, we heard it the other night from Herman Caicedo saying, I didn't know we would sweep it, but this, you know, is very important what the coaches do now. It's about them.
Very much so. And this is the rematch between Britos and Maibach. Britos very testy about what she felt was Maibach using her head on the inside to create that cut. Britos fought very well against the charging Maibach. Now Maibach this round is willing herself to come forward. Britos backed her up from the beginning in their first encounter. This time it's more what we thought it was going to be. Maibaum coming forward, Britos maybe countering.
Maibaum missing there with the right hand, but definitely starting from closer and then moving side to side and trying to open up here. Tell a lot, you learn a lot in your first round. And they come together again, and that's very significant for Britos. We're happy that she's back after the headbutt, because that's something that can be a serious hindrance.
Yeah, that cut just outside the eyelid. Maibaum, we mentioned she's 14-1 in the pro ranks, has fought at a high level in professional boxing outside of TBL, and losing her debut, but obviously determined to fight her style in this second round. Whether it pays off for her, we'll see, but she's certainly trying to come forward and be who she normally is.
Well, you can see the evolution, what fighters learn from fight to fight. Now, she is right on top of Britos. After the exchanges, she's close. She's setting up an office close to where Britos is, and she wants to get that right hand in. She's trying to work for that. And this has been a sustained effort for almost 2 minutes of aggression from Maibaum.
Yeah, now Britos is landing some nice counter punches, and Maibaum isn't landing everything she's throwing. So even though she has come forward, the question will be whether the judges think she's done enough offensive work. Nice right hand by Maibaum, so she did get that shot in.
And it appears that Maibaum has now figured out that this is a sprint compared to her distance efforts before, and she's smartly picked up the pace, and Britos is standing with her.
Yeah, Britos, you know, I think she said to herself, for this last 35 or 40 seconds, I'm going to have to stay in the pocket because I need to create some offense.
Britos landed 3 nice shots, and then gets the jab in and gets out. Nice veteran move by Britos.
And a nice right hand again by Britos. Maibaum has a very good jab when she uses it, but sometimes it's in mothballs.
Britos is getting hers in effectively. And then the move to southpaw, which she was doing so well. So mark that, and then she turns back. So the last 30 seconds, very good for Florencia Britos. Interesting how they will see this.
Yeah, and obviously that cut opened up again. There's some blood on Maibaum. This is when Maibaum came out in the beginning, and Britos met her in the center of the ring, but Maibaum kept coming forward. Toward the end, in the last half minute, Britos did good work on the inside and good combination punching, body work. She had a really good ending to that round, and we'll see if that sticks in the judge's mind. And yeah, the cut, an issue in that, and more of an issue than it looked after the first fight. It's going to affect the future.
The winner of round 17 by way of unanimous decision, from Las Vegas, Florencia Britos.
That's what we talked about after the first time they fought. You have to make a decision. Do you risk the playoffs? Do you lose 4 points tonight to do that? So that was the tough decision there. And Vegas goes this way. Not an easy call on the coaching staff.
And a rematch now that went a way that surprised Gordon Barrera, and maybe surprised us a little bit too.
So now they come back in the money rounds as they fought back in round 6.
And you see Barrera, I think he said, I thought I won that first encounter. I'm going to go right after Gainza. I'm not even going to waste any time.
And there he goes with a good left hand, and the tying up by Gainza.
The difference between these two men, I think, is power. Barrera demonstrates it a little more than Gainza does, and is a more power puncher, and he's trying to show that here early. To be honest, this looks a lot like the first time they battled each other, and Barrera probably thought that was enough to get him a decision, but it wasn't, and so he's going to have to redouble his efforts. Gainza, from his standpoint, has been reluctant, I think, to really take the chances to show his offense, and it has been that way in this round as we're over a minute in.
Yeah, we saw a different, more aggressive Barrera for about 50 seconds, and then going back to what he did in the first fight.
Yeah, and Gainza still hasn't really untracked there. You see him using the jab a little bit, and Barrera working on the inside. The right hook of Barrera is a good punch. He's just got it in against Gainza.
And Barrera trying to maintain his balance as he comes forward. You know, it's one thing for maybe a fighter to think, I'm off to a good start in this round, I'm doing everything that I want to, but in light of the split decisions and some surprises, you cannot sit on a lead because you may not have a lead to sit on.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why Barrera is still attacking, and Gainza, for his part, just has not been offensive. He wasn't really so much in the first match, and isn't doing it very much in this one either, really. Snapping some jabs out that don't quite get there. And not that Barrera is landing giant power punches, but when punches are landed, for the most part, it's been Barrera. There's a big left hand by Barrera. That may have gotten Gainza's attention.
Gainza has been cocoon-like in his
well put.
style, and here is Barrera trying to take advantage of this and look aggressive and drive Gainza back across the ring and try to come up with a strong finish to this so that he gets a call in the money rounds. And it's a very important one for Phoenix.
Good straight left hand by Gainza. That was probably his best punch of the 2 rounds. And these two Cuban fighters, very amiable with each other. Barrera's hoping that he won't be annoyed at the decision. Barrera did most of the attacking, landed that straight left hand. That was one that we thought maybe got the attention of Gainza a little bit, but we'll see how the judges saw this one.
TBL fans, the winner of round 18 by way of unanimous decision. From Phoenix, Jordana Barrera.
So Barrera gets an important point for Phoenix, and now here's another important juncture because Joanna
Round 19 at super lightweight, Phoenix, Rebecca Irwin. Las Vegas, Joanna Nwamuru.
She scored a knockdown in round 4, which put Vegas on the board and turned a 3-point Phoenix lead into 1. Now, she could be like perhaps in a star of the fight type setting if she can do that again.
It's not untoward to think that there may be more points that she can put on the board, either with another knockdown or even a stoppage. And I'm not writing Rebecca Irwin off in this fight, but based on what we saw, that's a possibility.
And we're seeing an aggressive Nwamuru, as we did in the last fight. Good right hand. She really has pinned her ears back and come on. We made the point in the last round. Some fights, she's better off with the instinct rather than the technique, and this is that night for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's facing a woman who's not a monstrous puncher, also a woman who is somewhat limited because, you know, in her technique, she's a kickboxer and a Muay Thai fighter, and she's still figuring out boxing. And so Nwamuru realizes I need to take advantage of that as best I can. And boy, she's pounding those right hands home again like she did in the first round they met.
You know, with teams, you show different depths, sometimes a different hero or heroine every night. And Nwamuru has a chance to be in that center stage tonight for Vegas, and she's reacted as if she realizes that that's out there for her. And Irwin trying to hold her off. She would need to get off first.
And Wemmer is showing good technique as well. You talked about the instinct, but she's 7-0 as a pro, and she's a savvy boxer. She's been throwing feints at Irwin. There it is. You see it right there. She's been jabbing both to the body and the head to set up the right hand. So it's not an unpolished effort by Nwamaru.
Fighters are worried about the heads as they both leaped in to try to take the initiative.
Irwin just threw a nice right hand. It didn't quite get there, but that's the punch she has to try and use over that jab of Nwamaru.
And Nwamaru just missed a sledgehammer right hand.
That was a 4-point potential punch there.
She's had a number of those that just did whiz by. And she's been an interesting study for me all season long. Coming in right against the top fighters and learning from them and then coming back.
Yeah, it didn't discourage her.
No, and she has then shown at different times flashes of ability. Her most polished effort as a boxer was in the 2 losses to Ariel Davis.
Yeah, ironically.
And so she shows a lot here. And this was wall-to-wall aggression for Joanna Nwamaru, who did not want to leave anything to chance. And Irwin, well, she kept it at 1.
Hey, Rebecca Irwin, I mentioned she fought Ariel Davis twice. Nwamaru, she has shown a lot of toughness and grit. And here's Nwamaru again ripping that right hand and getting some body work done as well as she physically roughs up Rebecca Irwin on the inside. She's a strong fighter, Nwamaru, and on the inside when they're being physical, she probably gets the better of that.
TBO fans, the winner of round 19 by way of unanimous decision. From the Las Vegas Hustle, Joanna Nwamaru.
All right, so a 3-point night for Joanna Nwamaru.
Round 20 at welterweight, Phoenix, Joaquin Camberos. Las Vegas, Alan Medina.
Can you feel the tension? 5 fights to go. I go up 1, you come back. It's the way it's been going for much of this night.
And this was interesting because Camberos got what some might have thought kind of an upset victory in a very close fight against Darian Castro, who came in with a glittering record. And Alan Medina fell to Demarius Watson and almost fell to the canvas with some big power shots from him. And now these 2 men meet.
Five fights to go in a rapidly brisk moving event here.
You know, it's interesting to me. So Camberos in the last fight against Castro was mostly on his back foot, trying to control the distance and everything. Now, he knows he's in against a different kind of guy, not a power puncher, Alan Medina, a boxer. He's coming forward and trying to make offense happen.
Yeah, realizing what's there stylistically and making the adjustment fight to fight. And when you're doing it on the same night, that's a good challenge.
Good counterpunch there by Medina. And Alan Medina is a solid technician in the ring. And he will do a good job of countering when it's available to him.
Camberos is trying to get inside with the uppercut. Gets the jab out. And throws 7, gets 1 in. It's good defense there by Medina.
Yeah, Alan Medina doesn't take wild chances, and so he's buttoned up defensively. And although Watson was able to get through with some big power punches, for the most part, Medina is pretty responsible defensively. And the 19-year-old Camberos is trying to create problems for them. Cambero's an interesting guy. He's 8-0 in pro boxing at 19. His last pro fight, he had a KO1 over Jone Godoy. He's got 5 first-round knockouts in boxing outside of 2BL, so he can get power created.
And this has been an interesting, a taut, intriguing match between these teams. We've seen blowouts, we've seen teams with big runs, we've seen dramatic finishes with heavyweights and knockouts, and this is one of the few we have seen. 1 point one way, 1 point another way for the entire card, and that is really raising the stakes on all these fights and also showing that how both teams have brought their good fundamentals here tonight.
Medina, you know, throwing a short little left hand on the inside. He mentioned he's been with TBL for all the seasons. Started boxing at age 8. He's a very clever technician in the ring, but is that going to be enough against the aggression of Camberos here tonight and the youth?
Good uppercut as the round came to an end by Camberos. Every call now is an important one by the officials.
Well, and in this pretty close round, it'll be decided by small things and punches that are landed. There's Camberos on the inside doing some good work, and Medina trying to counter him.
TBL fans, the winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision. From the Phoenix Fury, Joaquin Camberos.
Youth is served. We're back even again. What a great script being written here. 4 fights to go, all even. Phoenix and Vegas will come down to the home stretch after this. Let's get inside and get to it.
Round 21 at welterweight. Phoenix, Demarius Watson. Las Vegas, Darian Castro.
All right, Watson with an earlier victory for Phoenix. And a star performer in the league, and Darian Castro, who has been a mainstay.
A round to watch, and I'm interested to see it. Castro smarting from a loss in a fight that he might have felt like he was going to go in and take, and Watson off a win over Alan Medina, and good matchup.
We talked about how the coaching is so significant. Let's hear from the Phoenix coaching staff now with Sophia.
I'm here with Sandy Gutierrez, coach for the Phoenix Fury. What are you thinking of the fight so far?
Like I told you, it's going to be a close. They're sticking to the game plan so far, and hey, hopefully we can finish strong.
What's the key to finish strong toward these last of the money rounds?
They're starting strong and finishing even stronger. So.
Just like you said it, Coach. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, that's Sonny Gutierrez in the moment, of course, and we talked about the jockeying by the coaches, and it's coming into play now in this one.
Yeah, there's fascinating matchups in these last 4 fights, and this is one of them. Watson, a young man who is, you know, in there against a kind of a more veteran, even though Castro's young as well. He's only 23 years of age, but he's got a lot of TBL experience, and Watson's trying to, in his debut season, make a real statement there. And he's on his way to doing that with a 6-1 record.
Yep, 6-1 record, and earlier victory tonight, becoming a dependable source for Phoenix. And then the coaches put him into the gauntlet here. Okay, you know, big win. We want to try to get it. We're going to put you in the money round, which is an honor for the fighters. It's like making an all-star team within your team.
Yeah, and Castro came in here with a 7-round winning streak. It ended tonight, and he doesn't want to exacerbate it with another loss.
No matter the playoff positioning your team has, you want to contribute to that team. Your own personal development and momentum is critical. So
some of those left hooks and right hands that Watson was landing against Medina earlier, he has not been able to land. You see Castro, a very good defensive fighter with lots of foot speed as well, and he's getting out of harm's way from those. The question is, who's doing the most offense? Nice little short counter left hand by Castro, and there's the hand speed from Castro. When he gets it going, it's something.
Castro trying to lure Watson into the mistake to leave himself open, and he may have succeeded at doing that here as he eats a right hand. But, you know, the technique worked. He lured Watson in.
He did very good work there. And Watson is always going to attack, so, you know, you have to counter him, and then he was able to push Watson back there for a while, which was impressive. Will that last 45 seconds of the round, in which Castro did extremely well? Is that enough to earn him the round? And there's Watson trying to get those right hands in, and he did get one in there. And Castro then toward the end of the round being very aggressive, good hand speed, combination punching ram. Not everything getting there, but still enough to give him an advantage during that portion of the round.
That was his optical highlight. It looked really good there defensively in what it set up for himself.
TBL fans, the winner of round 21 by way of unanimous decision. From the Las Vegas hustle, Darian Castro.
Okay, Vegas +1.
And Castro gets to the 10-win mark this
season. Round 22 at cruiserweight, Phoenix Charles Pugh. Las Vegas, Luis Portuando Gala.
All right, so Charles Pugh, CP the champ. He was the first time he fought with a big right hand and a knockdown. Phoenix's power display. All right, so Pugh delivered the goods for Phoenix back in the middle rounds, and we talked about the coaching. Let's get the Vegas perspective now.
All right, Coach, one word to describe how tonight's fights are going.
Excitement. Sophie, I told you earlier, it's going to be a close fight going down to the end. We have to hustle. This is what it's about. Last fight of the season, of the regular season. This builds character. Whoever wins this fight is going to have momentum going into the playoffs. Team Boxing League exemplifies just this, of action-packed, close fight. And I think we're going to win the next 3 out of the 4 rounds and get this victory. But one word is scary, exciting, fascinating, and competitive.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
Well, it was one word each time, so I guess he stayed within the parameter.
There you go. And all those words do apply to what we're saying. Now, this one, of course, we saw the right hand send Portuano down when he was attacking, and he is still attacking, but trying to keep his hands up and be a little more responsible. He's going downstairs. Portuano is a very good body puncher, and you would think against this 38-year-old second fight of the night for him, second round of the night, he might want to go down there, and he is trying.
Hey, you know, Coach hit on something interesting. You know, we talked about how the coaches make these decisions. He said, I think we can win 3 of the last 4. So as he handicapped it, he saw maybe one loss in there, but hopefully the 3 wins. And there's a lot on the mind of the fighters this tight, because you're picking up your teammates. You're Charles Pugh. You scored the knockdown. You had the highlight for Phoenix. You know there's pressure on him to try and do it again. And Portuando, you're trying to reverse everything. And I think the mindset of the next 2 fighters is that I want to be the person that at least keeps it close enough so the last fighter can decide it.
Portuando, interestingly, when they get on the inside, he has been less active than I would have thought he might be. There was some holding going on in the first counter between the two, not so much this time.
Now it's Pugh stepping forward and accepting the holding here as he tries to do his best to get out. And then this time it's Portuando doing. And what happens? Each time you do that, you're buying 4 or 5 seconds. And the veterans will try to do that a number of times. Maybe make a 3-minute fight turn into 2.5.
Portuando's left hook, which is a major weapon for him, hasn't been as evident tonight. Just has not been able to get. There's a nice right hand by Portuando.
So what's at stake here? I mean, we've had so many decisions. If Portuando wins, Phoenix has lost its margin of error. So that's how important. Oh, and then a headbutt by Charles Pugh, and that was not accidental. Fortunate not to have something taken from his team.
Yeah, he was kind of celebrating, and I don't know if that. I couldn't tell why they clashed heads. I mean, Charles Pugh and Portuano having some exchanges there.
And it's all good between them. Let's see what happened there as they were mixing it up.
Yeah, he really was kind of celebrating, but yeah, his head did come right against him, and Portuano smacked him and said, hey, that's illegal.
It's like those movies, make it look like an accident.
Round of 22 by way of unanimous decision. From the Phoenix Fury, Charles Pugh.
CP the champ. 3 points for Phoenix tonight, and again, here we are, knotted up.
Round of 23, our penultimate money round, will be at super middleweight. Phoenix, Sebastian Solomon. Las Vegas, Diane DePestre.
Pressure mounting on every fighter now.
And when they met last, Sebastian Solomon Duran did not win. Diane DePestre did. So we're going to see if this one goes to Las Vegas or not.
Now, we've been advised that with the no swing rounds here, so if this particular match would end up tied, it's been tied a number of times. If it ends that way, this is a tie.
Yeah, we have seen a tie already early in the season.
And it actually did benefit both teams.
Yes.
San Antonio and the Houston Hitmen.
Yeah, for a while it helped Houston, and it did help San Antonio. For sure.
It was a tiebreaker just before San Antonio clinched. So there's a lot for the fighters to think about, the coaches to think about. This has really been well-matched, fight by fight. Neither team able to get very far ahead. Largest lead was at the start, 3-0 Phoenix.
And as we look at these last 2 fights now, the possibility of a knockdown is, for any of these fighters, becomes important, because that could be enough, easily be enough to swing things. Big hook by DePestre.
And then you have to balance 2 perspectives now as a fighter. You want to win, and you may be just a little bit wary of getting caught. So how do you know when it's time to gamble?
Yeah, DePestre, you know, he, for the most part, in that first fight was the one coming forward, which is true in this instance as well. Solomon Duran, nice right hand by Tepestre. Solomon Duran has not been an aggressor here, and at his best this season, when we've seen him get some wins, he has been the aggressor. And there's Duran, Solomon Duran coming forward, trying to get some offense going, because Tepestre has kind of really controlled this round.
So intriguing how we got here. Now, Phoenix has been in a one-pointer before. Its first match of the season in Boston. But on that one, Phoenix came back from 7-1 all the way. This has been a nip-and-tuck affair. Phoenix up by 3 early, and Vegas has never had a big lead. And here we are with basically 3.5 minutes to go in this match.
Yeah, and Tepestre has, I think, barring some kind of disaster for him, has put this one in the bank for Las Vegas, in my opinion.
Now that would set up one of our rounds of the night to finish it, which is next one up, by the way, is Raiko Santana and Johanna Martinez. So make sure you stay right there.
Yeah. A rematch that was won by Johanna Martinez, much to the chagrin and surprise of Raiko Santana. And this one seemed to be dominated by that man.
Well, nobody made any big mistakes, and they will leave it up to their final fighters to decide this. And hey, in the backdrop of Hollywood, we have a Hollywood script.
TBL fans, the winner of round 23 by way of unanimous decision from the Las Vegas hustle, Diane Tepestre.
Okay, so it is Vegas +1. What's on the line? These two guys. This was round 14, a round to watch for us. And this was, well, the two fighters we'll see here. Santana, and also going against Martinez, who got the call that Raiko said, "You can't be serious."
And the referee even started pointing to Santana, and he said, no, the other guy got the decision.
Phoenix, Raiko Santana.
All right, so here's Santana.
Martinez.
He can do a couple things for his team. They could get a win, and they get a tie. Could score a knockdown against Martinez and get a win for the club. And Martinez can win the round and provide a victory for Las Vegas. I think one way or another, though, based on having lost to Atlanta, Phoenix has achieved a major objective here.
Yeah, that's a very good point. No matter how this ends up, they have shown they can hang in with one of the top teams in the TBL, and they've shown, and I think they've uncovered some fighters that they think are going to be good for them in the playoffs. Martinez demonstrating the kind of hand speed and combination punching that has gotten him a good record this year, now 9-4, and what started him off when he beat Jesse Hart those 2 times in one night, and started off his excellent year, his debut season in TBL.
So we've got the most valuable fighter of the league last year, Raiko Santana, versus one of the rising stars in Johanna Martinez. And Martinez, again, blatantly leading the holding here, and nothing has come of that.
Yeah, he's been punching pretty well, but every time Santana's on the inside, he's holding. It's going to be up to Santana, I think, to try and push him off or don't get inside. He's angry about the holding.
He's trying to do it by raising his, and yet at some point they have to give a warning or a point here.
The referee is just indifferent to the holding by Martinez. Interesting.
And if they give it to you, you take it, not even a warning. And this is something where the officials here, we finally get you influencing the outcome.
And Martinez did good offensive work early in this round, so he banked a bunch of work, and Santana working the crowd more than even Martinez. And
well, he's doing some lobbying here as he's fighting to call attention to the fact that Martinez is holding. And now a warning about hitting behind the head on Raiko Santana, and back to the holding.
Right hand by Santana gets in, and this has turned into a messy affair, hasn't it?
It really has. We could not have really, based on what we've seen, the holding. And the problem, too, if the referee doesn't get right on it, then it prolongs it. If it's dealt with early, it changes back.
And they came into tonight having split 2 matches, so they're obviously pretty equal fighters. Well, Santana getting some good shots in now. And this was a match in 2 halves. The first part, Martinez was effective with his offense, and in the second part, I think Santana probably did better work even while all the clutching and holding was going on. So we'll see.
Narrow win for Vegas, or does Phoenix annex a tie? It's a good work here by Raiko Santana, and then the clutch-a-thons.
And there's the left hook on the inside by Santana. He's normally very good on the inside, but Martinez, nullified that with the holding that, he was able to get away from. And there's a nice right hand right at the end.
Round 24 by way of split decision. From the Las Vegas Hustle, Yajendler Martinez.
That's twice that Raiko Santana can't believe what happened there. And that is the victory celebration, as Vegas does get the team victory. And Phoenix, they put up a good effort, but they can't believe what they saw. But Johanna Martinez has come through for Vegas when it mattered the most. So up and down we went. 14-12. Las Vegas wins a taut affair. We'll be back with more after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. in this back and forth struggle. What, you ask, was the balance of nature star of the fight? Well, it went down to the last fight.
Yeah, appropriately. It was with Rico Santana and Johanna Martinez in their second fight of the night. The first one was won by Martinez. That early offense by Martinez probably was the difference in the match. And it got him the win and the star of the fight.
And Vegas victory. He gets the type of treatment you can only dream of. And let's go inside and get the honor roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, your final score. The Las Vegas Hustle 14. The Phoenix Fury 12. Here are your 3 stars of the fight. The number 3 star from the Phoenix Fury Cruiserweight, Charles Pugh. The number 2 star from the Las Vegas Hustle, light heavyweight, your Chandler Martinez. Balance of Nature, number 1 star, Las Vegas Hustle super lightweight, Joanna Noameru. And round of the night, round number 16, Cesar Navarro and Jaire Cruz.
Coach David, congrats on the win today. What is it that you liked about tonight? Close fight from start to finish.
Man, the fights between us and Phoenix are always close. I like the grit my team showed, and I like the poise, and I like the go get it done they showed tonight.
Thank you, congrats. Now, Sonny, we got to talk. A close fight from start to finish. Proud of your team, as you should be. What did you like from them despite the outcome?
You know what, they put in a tough fight, but we knew that, and I told you that it was gonna be tough from the beginning. So hey, my hat's off to them. They did a good job.
Congrats, Coach. All right, Charles, our number 3 star of the night. You were a heavy hitter for Phoenix. They were depending on you for those big points, and that's exactly what you did tonight. How good does it feel to get those points on the scoreboard?
It feels great, of course, man. Wish the team could have pulled the dub out, but we playing one of the best teams in the league. And salute to my opponent, salute to Las Vegas. And Phoenix, I love you, baby.
Great work tonight. All right, our number 2 star, Johanna Martinez. Now, you went against Rico Santana. You guys have been in the ring a lot of times. Win on both sides. What was different tonight that made you come victorious twice?
Rico Santana is good fighter. Appreciate it for the work today. I love you. He's from Cuba too. He's my friend. It's the Cuban boxing. It's amateur boxing. It's a grand fight tonight. Thank you.
Handler, congrats. Joanna, our number 1 star of the night. Now, even from the beginning, those launch rounds, you scored big, scoring 2 and really putting you guys up. What can you tell us about tonight?
I just want to say huge respect for the Fury team. The whole team, they're amazing. And of course, to my opponent, she's also an amazing girl. But let's say, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We're on a final, so we have a lot more work to do. So I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful to my coaches, their advices, of course. And again, thanks to the team, to the coach. They're very cool. Everybody from the team, they're very cool. And mostly, I want to say something. We got to respect each other. We got to love each other, because no matter who win or lose, it doesn't matter. We all got to be friends in the end. So thank you all.
Well said, Joanna. Congrats. We're going to send it back to you guys.
All right, well said by the woman who came on the first week and called herself the Sweet Sexy Savage when she got a couple of victories, which she did. And she has her night tonight as the star of the night. Congratulations to Joanna Noameru. Well, the standings look like this now. Of course, Vegas ends up with a great 7-1, 15 out of 16 in the last couple of years. And I think that Phoenix still accomplished a lot despite the loss tonight, because they stood tall with one of the great teams in the league. Only losing by 2, was there the entire time. So, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a back and forth affair with Phoenix getting up. Sonny Gutierrez was happy. Joanna Noameru, this was one of the things that made her the star of the fight. Both teams had big performers, and in the end, it was Vegas. So, for my pal Al Bernstein, for Jason Moon, for Clark Grove, and for all the great people on the Team Boxing League, this is Dave Bontempo saying we'll see you soon. Final score 14-12